how's everybody doing today? Welcome to a new episode of Average Joe Sports. In this one, we're continuing our NFL record predictions. This time, we're going over the AFC South. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with who I think will win the division, we have the Tennessee Titans with a record of 11-6 and 5-1 within the division. New year, same Derrick Henry. Rushing leader 3 times in a row, question mark? I mean, he's done it 2 times in a row. Let's push for 3. A 2,000-yard rusher last season. I cannot wait to see how they're just going to use Derrick Henry. Whether or not, I think the biggest question mark in this season was just his overall wear and tear. He's been rushing the ball a lot. He's been rushing the ball a lot since high school. Did all of his high school carries. Of course, went to Alabama, got those carries. Been in the NFL. The first couple years, I think, were good because he didn't overwork himself. But how many more years of Derrick Henry at an elite pace do we have? You know, everyone knows that the decline of running backs can be so sudden. It's kind of been determined that a running back doesn't win you championships. It's just all in your style of play. I mean, Derrick Henry was ranked number 4 on the NFL Top 100 list for a reason. And if you haven't listened to any of those videos, I have the full 100 to number 1 NFL player breakdowns. I talk about each one, give you what I like, dislike about them. So go check out those videos now in the description below. Julio Jones joins A.J. Brown after a lot of petitioning on social media and whatnot this offseason. Could possibly be. Now, duos all together, that would be a different situation. You know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it unfolds during the season. Can Tannehill become more than just a quote-unquote game manager? Can he really take the next step of, like, being a dominant quarterback? Now, that's not their style of play. He's not going to be in shotgun 30 times a game. But I'm looking from that next little thing of Tannehill because I think we've already seen the best of Tannehill. But if Tannehill can just improve his game just slightly, adding a couple more things, a little better on the rollout. Is he going to be throwing more deep balls with the addition of Julio Jones? With A.J. Brown? They're going to double Julio. They can't double everybody. He's going to leave more single coverage. Is he going to be willing to take more chances? We'll just have to see on that one. And it's a big year for the defense. They need to prove it to us. They need to show improvements. They need to be able to get after the quarterback. Need to be able to get sacks. Need to force turnovers. That's going to be the biggest question mark on whether or not they can win the division. Probably a surprise for a lot of people. When I was going through each game and I finally got to the end of the season, this pick even surprised me. But at 8-9, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're also going to be 5-1 in the division. How that happens, I'm not quite too sure. I guess they beat up on Indy and Houston, and then they beat Tennessee once. But we'll see. I wasn't the biggest fan of Trevor Lawrence, you know. In college, you know, it was always just, oh, he plays for Clemson. Of course he's going to win all the time. The first year at Clemson, they went and smacked Alabama in the national championship game, and that's whenever I was like, oh, okay, this guy can really play. And then a couple years of, like, you know, not winning the championship. Clemson's still a great program, powerhouse in the college football world. But it's looking like it's going to be all up to him. He has to be the guy. He's the man. Nobody else can compare to Trevor Lawrence. I can't wait to watch him play. Prove to us that you're the best number 1 prospect since Andrew Luck. I think the offense can surprise a lot of people. They still got DJ Shark, Laviska Shenault. I'm hoping that those players, James Robinson, now that Travis Etienne probably out for the year with the Liz Frank injury, that's okay. James Robinson did well last year, undrafted free agent, put in work last year. Number 100 on the NFL Top 100 list. Go check out that video. But he's going to be getting the bulk of the responsibility, and I believe that he'll be able to take care of that handily. Defense step up. Josh Allen on the defensive end. Jacksonville surprised me. And I hope that they can surprise a lot of other people and prove me right. But moving on to the third team in the division, I have the Indianapolis Colts. At a quite surprising 6-11. And 2-4 within the division. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Carson Wentz is now in a COVID protocol with tracing, so he's out 5 days ago, a couple days ago, so he probably has three more days left at least. not good at the beginning of the season, or about to be the beginning of the season. I mean, he's been out pretty much the whole time with a toe injury. Same toe injury as Quentin Nelson. Now, I know he was getting back to practice, and now he has this COVID situation that he needs to get over. Apparently, the Colts aren't happy that he's not vaccinated. It's just been an overall bad time for the Colts. And I think it's just going to go into the season. I think they're just going to be one of the most disastrous teams, the most underperforming teams in the NFL. Yeah, they'll be good on defense. They're led by DeForest Buckner. Leonard just got paid. Can the offense pull their weight, though? The defense will be able to win you at least a few games. But the offense needs to pick it up. And I don't know whether or not it's going to be Wentz. I'm not a fan at all. I do not like Carson Wentz. He's one of the most overrated quarterbacks I've ever seen. It's either you love him or you hate him, and I'm firmly on the hate side. Indianapolis, sad story. Most underperforming team of the year, I feel. Lastly, see what I did there? We have the Houston Texans in the cellar with a whopping 1 win and 16 losses. 0-6 within the division. There's just way too much uncertainty right now on whether or not Watson will play. Will he be traded to Miami? It's really uncertain. It's not looking like it right now. 53-man rosters officially had to be in today. And there's still more questions than ever around Deshaun Watson and whether or not he'll be there week 1. Now, we all know about his legal situation. But if Deshaun Watson is able to play and then gets traded to Miami, that's going to cause a fucking whirlwind. And that's going to be a scary Miami Dolphins team. But we're talking about the Houston Texans, and nothing about this team interests me at all. I really just think they should tank this year, dump Deshaun Watson, get a ton of fucking picks for him, maybe trade back the number 1 pick that they get this year for a much more draft capital. Get a team that's really starving for a quarterback, or you can draft a quarterback if you don't want Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of possibilities. But their asking price right now for Watson with all of his legal uncertainties is just fucking ridiculous. 3 1s and 2 2s. Get out of here with that, man. So, just a recap on those record predictions for the AFC South. In first place, we have Tennessee Titans with an 11-6 record and 5-1 within the division. Secondly, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, surprisingly, with a record of 8-9 and also 5-1 within the division. In third place, we have Indianapolis with a 6-11 record and 2-4 within the division. And lastly, we have the Houston Texans with a total of 1 win and 16 losses and 0-6 within the division. That will do it for today's episode of Average Joe Sports. I want to give a special thank you to you, the listeners, and I'll be back with another episode